This is the 37th video presentation for the Case Plant course. As you view this video, make notes of important information. Pause, repeat, and resume the video whenever necessary. Integrated Pest Management, Lesson 8.1, Pesky Bugs in Plants. Now that you know what pests are, how can you control pests in ways that are beneficial to the producer as well as the environment? You completed Part 1 of Problem 812, Crop Scene Investigation, where you observed pest damage and formed a hypothesis regarding the types of pests to blame. Next, you will prepare an Integrated Pest Management, or IPM, plan. Let's break down this term. Integrated, which means to include all the phases or stages of a process. Pest, which is a hinder to plants. Management, which is the system of making decisions. This presentation explores all aspects of IPM further. Integrated pest management refers to the broad spectrum of pest controls at all phases of damage, such as prevention, reduction, and eradication. As a producer, you have to decide how to best control pests, considering mode of action, residual effects, and cost efficiency. The balance is between environmental concerns and economic efficiency. Determining the appropriate time for action has many different aspects to consider. For example, can an insect be controlled effectively in the dominant stage of the life cycle when it is detected? Or will there be enough time to apply a treatment to eradicate weeds before they go to seed and increase their presence the following year? Step 1, monitoring and detection, should be repeated throughout the plan. Information gathered from scouting will help you to determine when an appropriate time to move to the next step in the plan. Step 2, non-chemical controls, are best employed early on and in small areas. These require more labor. Step 3, biological controls, take more planning and time to implement. Step 4, determination of cost effectiveness, allows the producer to determine at what level of damage the economic threshold is met. If the severity of the pest problem is greater than the cost of chemical control, then chemical application may be warranted. Step 5 requires several considerations, including rate, timing, method, and formulation of chemical application. The good thing about cultural control is that specific pests can be targeted and quickly eradicated if in small populations. For example, if a weed like a thistle appears in a grain field, the thistle can be controlled relatively easily if it is prevented from producing seed. If only a few patches of thistle exist, pulling the plants will prevent larger problems in the future. However, cultural practices are labor-intensive, difficult to accomplish on a large scale. Biological control is the obvious, environmentally friendly choice. Once the biological agents are finished in a target location, they continue to seek out pests beyond field borders and greenhouse walls. Another advantage is that beneficial insects can be purchased and shipped through the mail for immediate use. However, biological controls can backfire if the predators are non-native species. An adequate population of predators may be expensive to introduce, especially on a large scale. It is all too easy to grab the insecticide or herbicide first. Although very effective and readily available for purchase, chemical controls have many side effects to consider. Take, for example, rat bait. Sure, it kills the rodent. However, the chemical acts quickly, leaving a dead carcass available for other animals to feed on. These secondary consumers can be poisoned from the non-selective chemical. It is important to consider the extent of pest control based on the environment and the wallet. Plants naturally overcome some damage. As a producer, you have to determine how much damage to yield and therefore profit to allow. As a review, mark or highlight 3 key points in your notes that are important to remember from this presentation. List 2 ideas or concepts that relate to previous knowledge. List any questions you have about this topic. Discuss these questions with your instructor. Keep any notes you have from this presentation organized and available for use throughout the course. Through the remainder of Project 812 Crop Scene Investigation, you will use the principles of IPM to develop a plan to prevent further damage and manage the pests. Your teacher will provide instructions for Part 2, reviewing expectations for the IPM plan.